Hi, you're watching West Bloomfield 911 show. My name is Officer David McNealy, and on behalf of my Chief, Michael Patton, and Deputy Chief Kurt Lawson, and my brothers and sisters in blue, I'd like to welcome you all to the show. This is my partner,
Zena, Dailey.
I'd also like to welcome Mr. Jim Manna.
Hi there.
Mr.
How are
Manna?
you? Good to see you.
Mr. Manna, hang on with us for a second while I flip the show. Folks, we're going to flip the show over to Zena's Daily on the Daily.
Hello, West Bloomfield. Welcome to Daily on the Daily. Let's start with Ask a Cop a Question. This question comes from Noah in West Bloomfield. Noah asks, is hanging a rosary from your rearview mirror an obstruction of view? Well, Noah, if you have a rosary hanging from your rearview mirror, it's going to be A-OK. As long as it's not obstructing your view, it's legal. Be like Noah, like us on Facebook, West Bloomfield Police Department, throw a question up there for us, and we'll try to answer that for you as well. Moving on, today we're going to talk about false alarms. False alarms can be a problem for homeowners, so as much as you love them, you might have some problems with them. Sometimes they're activated when you're not home, which is always worrisome, and even worse is when you are home and they startle you. But of course, even worse than that is when your alarm is activated in the middle of the night while you're sleeping. False alarms are caused by a slew of things. Guardian Alarms states that 70% of false alarms are caused by user error. People often forget their passcode or use a system incorrectly. Forgetting to give the passcode to a contractor or a family member is also pretty common. Some of the causes that people don't expect are having balloons flying around in the home, the curtains moving, bugs, rotating holiday decorations that end up moving in front of the motion detector. Some of the times it can be activated falsely because of improper installation of the device or its location. And bad weather can also activate your alarms, strong winds, strong rains, as well as power outages. If you have pets, you should actually speak to your representative about what they recommend. Many times they will suggest glass break detectors or open-close sensors so your pet doesn't falsely set off the motion detector. Here are some ways you can handle your false alarms. This is if you know that it is a false alarm. Stay calm, disarm your system like you normally would. Call the monitoring center to report that it is a false alarm. If you choose to cancel, the monitoring center will attempt to call the police and hopefully get to us in time before we get there. Stay put until they give you the all clear. If the police do get there and it is a false alarm, just let us know that you're okay and that everything's all set. If you don't know that it is a false alarm, do not cancel the police. Your alarm company will call us out and just let them know that you don't know why it got set off and we'll come out there. Get in your room and lock the door. Make sure that you're in a safe place. Stay on the phone with the monitoring center, or you can call the police department and talk to our dispatchers. What you will typically find in West Bloomfield is the police officers will walk around the house to check for broken windows, open doors, or any signs of forced entry. We will pull on doors to see if any of them are unlocked. If they are not, we will make our way back to the front door to talk to you. If you're still on the phone with the dispatcher, they will let you know when to come down if you're unsure. If there is an open door, we will enter through that door and typically call out police or police department loud several times, identifying ourselves in case someone is in your home. If you are still on the phone with the dispatcher, you can verify that it is the police that actually entered your home at this point. We will search your house for any intruders and then speak with you once we're all set. We recommend that you stay in your room that you're in, if you feel safe in there, until we're finished searching the home. The police department does charge for false alarm activations. So you are allowed one false alarm activation at no charge each calendar year, and there is a charge for every false alarm activation after the first. Folks, that is your Daily on the Daily. Dave, back to you.
That's a lot of good information. And folks, one thing she did touch on is with a false alarm. Don't be offended if an officer asks you for some identification, because we will do that to verify that you are the homeowner. So great information. Right. Thanks so much, C.
You're welcome.
Mr. Manna, we're going to take a short station break, sir. We'll be right back, folks.
Sounds great.
You're watching West Bloomfield 911 on Civic Center TV, a service of the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission. For more information or to watch episodes on demand, visit civiccentertv.com/WB911. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
The West Bloomfield Police Foundation raises money to help those who protect and serve the community. Whether it's emotional or financial support, the foundation provides a helping hand to officers, their families, and those in the community. For more information on the West Bloomfield Police Foundation, contact Kurt Lawson at 248-975-8900 or visit wbpolicefoundation.org.
Welcome back. I'm David McNealy.
I'm Zena Dailey.
And I'm Jim Manna.
Jim Manna, welcome back.
Thank you.
Mr. Manna?
Thanks for having me here today. This is great.
Mr. Manna, you've got a special title associated with your name for our township. Can you tell the viewers what that is?
Well, I'm a servant, first of all, but I was elected trustee, first Chaldean American trustee in the history of West Bloomfield Township, and that was very, very exciting.
Okay.
So,
how does it feel to be the first Chaldean trustee in this township?
well, it feels great. There was many people in our community that I urged to run. I never ever thought about running for office in my lifetime. And
this township is very diverse, though, and you, even being Chaldean American, you already were a part of the township. What else did you do for the township?
I've been planning commissioner for the last 8 years before being trustee.
Okay.
And that was an appointed position thanks to our previous supervisor and thanks to my good friend Steve Kaplan.
Okay, excellent.
Do you think that position helped you in preparing to become trustee?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I got to understand local government a lot more, process of getting developments and the different nuances that come before us approved or turned down, and sure, got to
So
learn
you're kind
it
of
very
familiar
well.
with what your job entails.
Yes.
So
yes.
what does a trustee actually do?
A trustee is one of the 7 leaders of our township, and we basically make decisions on, we're the final decision basically on developments or whether or not there's an appeal from different boards where somebody doesn't like the result that they've gotten and where they can appeal to us. And we also approve the budget. We also approve contracts for like police and fire. And we're actually the final say-so in the township of West Bloomfield.
And how do you feel like, what do you feel like you bring to that table in those decisions?
Well, I don't know if I bring the fact that I have 30 years of real estate and development experience to the table, but I also bring diversity to the table because you know, West Bloomfield is a wonderful, wonderful, diverse community.
Right.
Very multinational in every aspect that you can think of.
That's
what I love about this township.
Truly the melting pot, and that's
really
one of the things that I love about this township, because every time I put on this uniform, I'm an ambassador, and every day is a different adventure for us. So you talked about your real estate background.
Yes.
That I find very interesting because you have to deal with all walks of life. And so that takes you through West Bloomfield and Bloomfield Hills and different communities all over the place.
Absolutely.
So how has that assisted you, you being a trustee, meeting those people and building those relationships? How does that help you?
Well, you said the magic word, and that's relationship. I've been gifted by God of having good rapport, knowing how to have good rapport with people, and it comes naturally to me. And every real estate transaction that I've done over the last 29 years has resulted into a relationship. So it's building a relationship first with every client that you have, and then getting the desired outcome, where at the end of the day you walk away with a happy outcome where your client's happy, the realtor's happy, and everybody else is happy. So.
And how long have you been doing that for, real estate?
Almost 30 years.
30 years.
Yeah. And I live, eat, and sleep real estate. I really enjoy my work.
And look, you need to be personable, and you have to have that kind of personality to create those relationships.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So you've done a ride-along with our township, with our police department, correct?
I did.
Was that with Dave?
It was. I was.
What was that experience like?
You know, it was an incredible experience. I had, once I got elected, I spoke to the chief of police and said, is there any chance that I can ride along with some of the officers to get to understand the process of what they do every day? And it really,
I welcome that for any of the trustees, because I think once they have that, you know, they say that walk a mile in my shoes, or any resident, you're welcome as long as you fill out the proper paperwork with our police department and it gets approved by our chief, to take a ride along with us. And so go on. We had fun.
We did. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and wish I could do it more often. And I'm sure I'll have other opportunities. But I also got to see how dangerous the job is, because we had a couple of instances where we had to stop for an accident. We had to help out at an accident, and when we exited the vehicles, I realized how dangerous it is by watching the cars that went by, where some of them didn't even slow down. It was shocking, and I realized how dangerous this job is for our officers in blue. I have so much respect for you guys, and the fact that you guys put your lives in danger on a daily basis, it's shocking.
We're gonna let a little secret out, and the chief may fuss at me a little bit, but I actually let him wear one of our wool police caps. So chief's gonna get me for this, but you know, you got a chance to see that, and I really felt that it resonated with you once you were in the car with us, and he took me to a great lunch, by the way. But you know, I thought it resonated and stuck well with you, and I thought your eyes were definitely open to the perspective of an officer, anyone in public safety in general, because our fire department is, without saying, is to me one of the best in the state, if not the country. I love our fire department.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
it gave you a different perspective through our lens.
Yes.
You know, and I think that always helps with the relationship with the police department and the board and things like that. So
Absolutely.
especially when it comes to our needs or something like that, you got a chance to sit there and see it. So
Yes, yes. You know, the fire department is, I think, their main goal these days is saving lives. I mean, let's face it, we just don't have that many fires in West Bloomfield Township, thank God. But when it comes to our police department, it's always a challenging, dangerous job on a daily basis, because you never know what's going to happen.
You guys feeling all
Right,
this
you
love?
never know.
I'm feeling
It's
this
just-
love right now.
I
I'm loving it.
know.
You can just stay here. You're going to stay. We're not going to have any more guests.
It's just the
you can
truth.
just stay here.
It's just the truth. Just the truth. So,
You're going back to being a trustee.
yes.
So in town hall,
Uh-huh.
do trustees actually have an office there?
No, we don't.
Okay.
So trustee is a part-time position. It's probably one of the lowest paid positions
Okay.
in the township, and we probably have a meeting a week. Luckily, we have a absolutely phenomenal supervisor, Steve Kaplan, who keeps us in the loop. I'm in constant contact with him about what's going on in terms of developments that are coming in, or complaints that we get for the different services that we provide. And a lot of times, you know, one of the beautiful things that Steve has done is opened his door to anyone. So a lot of times he has meetings with different companies or developers or residents that want to have a meeting to discuss whatever issues are going on. I'll be invited to those events or meetings, and I can sit there and see firsthand what the issues are.
So you're always in the loop pretty much before you go to the meetings, you know, the Monday meetings where you have to start making decisions. You already know you're already in the loop what's going on in the township.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Okay.
We're getting a full report, a full package that basically tells us what it is that's going to come
Okay.
before us, including budgets, including issues that we're already aware of because they've come through different boards like the Planning
Okay.
Commission or the Zoning Board of Appeals or the Environmental Commission,
Okay.
things like that.
So just to switch gears back to your real estate
Yes.
background, you've got some special accreditations and things like that that probably, again, help translate over into your governmental aspect of your job. You got some special accreditations and things like that? What are those?
Education was always important to me, and in my third year of my real estate career back in the early 90s, I became a broker. And then in addition to
Educate me, what does that mean?
Well, as a broker, I have a lot more responsibility. I can own my own office, which I have, and I have the responsibility of overseeing the agents
Okay.
that work under us.
So you have people under
Correct,
you?
correct. That and we're basically as a supervisory role to make sure they're doing things according to the rules and regulations.
Where is that office?
Of the state of Michigan. Right now, I'm part of RE/MAX.
Okay.
And I have my own private office at 13 Mile Northwestern.
Okay.
Which is in Farmington Hills, but I broker all
over.
I'm licensed in the state of Michigan, but I broker
Yeah.
basically Southeast Michigan. Thanks to the internet today, you can do. There's no such
Yeah.
thing as a local
Yeah,
broker
there's
anymore.
no
Right.
boundaries
No,
now.
there really isn't. So
Has that helped or hurt?
it's helped. It's helped tremendously. The marketing today, there's a lot of, going back to safety again, there's a lot of things that we don't have to do today, like open houses, which have been a safety issue. There's a lot of stuff that we can do about buyers that call us,
Stop
for
for a
example.
second. What do you mean
Sure.
safety issue? Because I can talk about something that happened.
Sure. So safety issues, we don't, because of the internet and because of the fact that we can market 100 pictures of a home,
Right.
inside, outside, from above, from a
Oh, so you
bird's-
don't have to
bird's
go
eye view.
necessarily
You don't
go-
necessarily have to hold it open to where you have people that are coming in to see the home.
Right.
that you don't know. You can't, if you're having an open house, you can't decide in that split second if the person that's coming in there is coming in there to steal something or hurt you or do something else.
Right before I left the road, we had a call where there was an open house, and some folks that had the open house left some valuables out. And I know that prior to the open house, they were advised to put the valuables away. Can you talk about that for a minute from your perspective and what you tell somebody before they have to see us after they make the call that someone's taking something out of their home?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, depending on the open house, if we're forecasting that it's going to be a really, really busy one, we're going to have more than one person there. And usually we're going to accompany buyers or people that are there watching.
Do they have to sign in when they come in?
We absolutely recommend that. And not you don't know for sure. We're not checking ID.
Right.
So you don't know for sure they're actually giving you their real name and their phone number. And for the most part, a lot of people that do sign in don't give you the correct information. They give you false information because they don't want to be.
They don't want you to call them 100 times and all that. Okay.
They don't want the follow-up. So, it's defeated the purpose of having the open house there.
But you do tell the folks to put valuables away, obviously.
That's one of the first things we do is put valuables away, put them in a safe, or hide them in a safe environment where they're just not out. A person that's coming through an open house isn't going to stay there for half an hour. He's going to be there for a few minutes and leave. So it's going to be, if you have a Rolex watch that's sitting out there, that's going to be, very enticing for somebody to just grab it and walk away. And we're in a very affluent area. West Bloomfield is one of the nicest communities in the state of Michigan.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So whether it be here or whether it be one of our surrounding neighbors, of course, that's one of the first things we're going to do is say, put away your valuables, put them in a safe place, or put them in a safe. We recommend a safe, and that'll prevent any issues. I think in the 30 years that I've been doing this, I don't remember a single time that I've had a theft or an issue with safety. Thank God.
Okay. And now it's even easier with the internet, like you said.
Yeah, I mean it's great. The internet's really made our lives a lot easier. Believe it or not, when a buyer calls me and I have an appointment and I haven't met them before, I have so many tools at my disposal to be able to go on and check their name. I can go to the Otis. I think it's called Otis with the state of Michigan. See if there's if they've been incarcerated. I can just do a lot of background checking, which takes a couple of seconds, which I think is a smart thing to do before I go and meet a complete stranger.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So, Mr. Manna, tell us about your educational background. I'm just trying to get the viewers to know you more. What's your educational background?
Believe it or not, I went to parochial school early on back home in Baghdad, Iraq, where I immigrated from. I immigrated here at the age of 8 years old. We lived in Highland Park, Michigan, where we started, dirt poor, and went to public schools and eventually in Detroit. Eventually, we moved to Oak Park,
There's
Michigan.
always lineage back to Detroit, as I talk to
always,
folks.
always.
There's always lineage back
Absolutely.
to the city.
Absolutely.
Oak Park,
And,
yep, that's where I grew up too.
Oak Park, Michigan is the high school where I graduated, and had much more of a functional school where the kids were nice. I finished Oak Park High School, went to Oakland Community College for a year, and then transferred to University of Detroit. Spent a few years there, and I have also taken classes, and I'm a registered student at Sacred Heart Major Seminary. I considered the diaconate for my Catholic church. So I go back there and take classes once in a while just to sharpen up on my faith.
So let's talk about your family. Let's talk about your family life.
My family life. I have 4 beautiful children. My wife's got 3 children, so we have a total of 7 altogether.
Okay.
What
are the ages? What's the ages?
The oldest is 33. We have 3 grandchildren.
Okay.
Believe it or not, and I have a son that lives in Connecticut, and a daughter who took after Dad in terms of acting. She's in Los Angeles. She's an actress. She finished school at the University of Washington in Seattle.
Okay.
And so we've got 3 children still living at home, and that are all adults. And other than that, they're all leading a great life.
Well, tell us about this acting that you do.
Acting has always been a dream for me, and when I was a child, I used to read the different star magazines, and I was absolutely a star. I got the star bug basically, and since I was a kid, I started going into plays, and I'm one of the people that one of the first books I ever read was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and which basically taught that everything is achievable in life, whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. And so I believe that if you talk to the right people, or if you worked hard at anything,
Right.
you could achieve it. It's always remained a hobby. It never became a something that was
Well, you got a good
full-time
face
job.
for it. Well, that's a start. That's a start.
So I did a Michigan lottery commercial where I had a speaking part. That was probably the best paying job I ever had. Didn't star, but I had a couple speaking parts in movies. I was an extra in several movies.
Any notable
And
ones?
if you can, Mafia would have been one. Hoffa that was partially filmed in Detroit. There was a movie filmed in Chicago where I had a speaking part called Cousins. That was hilarious. It was a comedy. It was a great one, and that was about it. It's been a
Any future movies that you want to tell us about, or anything
No,
going
no,
on
no,
right
no,
now, so we
no,
look for it on Netflix or something?
There's a wonderful agency in Michigan called the I Group. They still call me in for auditions for different things. I've done some advertising things for Henry Ford Hospital, but I still get called in once in a while. But nothing. Again, it's just a hobby at this point. Something I enjoy doing.
So we're about to wrap the show up, Mr. Manna, but before we wrap up the show, give the viewers a perspective of you that they didn't know about. Tell us about you. Tell the viewers what your intentions are for your position as trustee and how you plan on making that grow.
You know what? A lot of I hate to say this, but a lot of people get into politics to become lifelong politicians. My goal from day one was, if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to work at getting elected, first of all, I'm going to be successful. I was the highest voted trustee in West Bloomfield Township out of the 4 trustees that we have. And I decided that I'm a compassionate, caring, loving person, and I'm not going to change that. It hasn't changed me in any way, shape, or form. I take calls from residents and from people from the entire West Bloomfield community at any time. I go out of my way to help them, and I want, at the end of my political career, whenever that may be, which I'm not going beyond trustee. I can say it right here on TV. I'm not going beyond trustee. That I want people to look back and say, there's a person who really gave a damn about our best interests, because
Right.
that's
Awesome.
really what I'm here for.
That's awesome. Awesome. Thanks again for coming
Thank
on.
you so much. Thank you for the opportunity. I really
Thanks
appreciate
again
it.
for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zena. I appreciate it.
Folks, that's going to do it for us, but you can keep up with the police department by liking us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram. You can also sign up for Nexel.com, crimemapping.com for the most up-to-date information regarding the police department. Thanks again for watching, and take care. Bye-bye.